Listen, some people just boycott differently. Some people don't show up to work for a few weeks. Some people go on a march, and some people burn their workplace down. That man said, pay us or I'm gonna get rid of it all. And that he did.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough.
They were paying this worker about $18 to $20 an hour. That's not livable. Gas is expensive. Groceries is expensive. Literally every and anything is expensive these days. And y'all don't think that people aren't going to crack? Imagine working 40 hours plus, can't even have time for yourself, and you're only getting paid $18 an hour. And trust me, I'm not saying that he was right in what he did, but I'm saying that I see why he did it.
Might be hard to believe, but this is the normal reaction. What they've been able to get away with, what they've been able to take from us and keep from us, how hard they've worked so many people to the bone for literally nothing. And spin it around and make it seem like it's our fault, or worse, make it seem like we can dig ourselves out of the hole if we just work harder. But real talk, this is the inevitable future of a dying country with a dying and frankly barbaric economic system. 300 people owning most of the wealth, but not just that, but being able to also live full lives. Like, I can't tell you how many times people get guilt tripped into basically sacrificing part of their existence, part of what it means to exist as a human, because of capitalism. This is the result of seeing someone make 100 times as much as you do, but do a fourth of the work that you do. Shit, a fourth is being nice. If you're one of those people that say there are better ways to do this is going too far, you can work within the system, you are in awe.
There were only 20 workers in this whole warehouse.
Around 20 workers were inside at the time, all of them safely evacuating.
Can you really blame him for feeling overworked and underpaid?
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to there goes your inventory.
And he's not even asking to be rich. All he wanted to do is be able to live off of his labor. Is that really asking too much? And no, I'm not saying what he did was right. Mostly because the people who gets affected by these actions are the locals. And now the surrounding communities have to deal with the damage that's being done to the ecosystem. So was this wrong? Absolutely. But we're gonna see more of it if you do not pay these workers. It's so funny how black women just be predicting things. Because yes, VP Harris was right, but we also wrote this in a book. It talks about the fires, the Make America Great Again. Of course, it doesn't matter because Americans don't even read anymore. They just want to follow their Bible. And it talks about that too. So welcome to the new America, because they're gonna make this the norm. The fact that they made pew-pews in school normal, you think they're gonna jump for this?
That man said all you had to do is pay us enough to live, and then lit that up. But not for real. Let's talk about how warehouse working is backbreaking, is hard. Half the time the management is shit. And then they don't want to pay you enough to even really be able to thrive. But God forbid you not come in on a day where they need you real bad. All of a sudden now they got a funky ass attitude. And I'm sure somebody will say, oh, Rico, you calling for violence and da da da. Man, look, I support 1,000% what this man did. Not saying that I would do it, because I'm trying to keep my job. Not saying I would do it. But I do understand why this man did this shit, especially in California. Cost of living out there is crazy. Man, they better be glad. Oh, man, they better be glad they got Memphis niggas on lock. Because the warehouse niggas in Memphis ain't this bold. I'm going to just say it. And if you are this bold in Memphis, you probably don't work at a warehouse, honestly. But no, dead ass. Like, I've seen way too many people, like... Folks here is either like, fuck it, I give up, kiss the boss's ass. Either way, we ain't got no real ones like that down here. I haven't seen dude's name yet, but whoever you are, bruh, good luck on the trial. We hope you go free. You probably won't. But when they lock you up, man, make sure you put your shit out there. Make sure you know, something. We need to J-Pay something. We gonna send you something. We got to. Because motherfuckers is fed up. How long do y'all think it's gonna be before another one of these happens? Y'all let me know. I'm out.
Shit, old boy said, I'm about to burn the whole warehouse down. Ain't nobody gonna have no job or be able to wipe their ass. As the employee is setting the fire on the pallets of tissue, you can hear him saying, you should have just paid us more. You know TikTok be tripping. Y'all go watch the video. Pay more, bro. It's hard out here. Y'all want to pay pennies. People tired of that shit, bro. Is he right for what he did? No, he didn't have to go that route. People are tired, bro. Stop paying pennies and trying to work people like dogs, bro. Motherfuckers tired of that shit, man.
Breaking news, y'all. It was a massive fire in Ontario, California at the Kimberly-Clark warehouse.
Holy cow.
And they own employee did it. The fuck? His reason because they ain't paying them enough to live. Valid. But nigga, you going to jail.
You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
There was 20 employees in the building at the time, but nobody was hurt. This happened at 12:30 in the morning. I'm talking about a massive 6 alarm fire. It destroyed the whole 1.2 million square foot building, y'all. Went aflame so quick because the whole building was filled up with tissue. Hear me out, y'all. I feel them. Those are some deep words. All you had to do is pay us enough so we can live. Like, damn. We work our ass off, then we get taxed. I bet if these companies are paying their employees more, making it like livable, not check to check and still struggling, blah, 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 the work would get done better. It would be way less call-offs. Won't be so many sick days. Probably be no stealing. Nigga, pay right. His ass is in jail right now. They do have him in custody. I get that he was mad. He thought that he was hurting them. But they about to go cash out on the insurance.
Okay, so this is one of those situations where you don't even know whether to be angry, confused, or just disappointed. So allegedly, a man out in Ontario, California, decided to burn down a warehouse. I said allegedly because we are not sure if he's the one who did it, you know, until proven guilty. Okay, yes, burned it down because he felt like he wasn't getting enough money paid. Okay, so according to what's circulating online, he was making around $18 per hour. And let's be real for a second, if you know anything about California, you already know that $18 an hour is not exactly comfortable living money. Okay, rent is high, food is expensive, gas prices, don't even get me started. Okay, so on that part, people are like, yeah, we understand the frustration, but here's where the situation takes a turn. So instead of quitting, looking for another job, or even speaking up, this man allegedly chose distraction, and not just any distraction, a whole warehouse gone just like that. And now people online are split. You've got some people actually giving him a thumbs up, almost like they see him as some kind of a symbol of rebellion against unfair wages. And then you've got others saying, hold on, this is not something to glorify, okay? Because let's be clear, struggling financially is real. Being frustrated with the system, very real, okay? But burning down a building, guys, that's where most people draw the line, okay? And what makes this even more suspicious is the question people are starting to ask, like, how does a massive warehouse just burn to the ground like that? What about the sprinkler systems? What about the fire safety measures? You're telling me everything just failed at once. Some people are even throwing around the idea that this might not be as simple as it looks, okay? That maybe there's more going on behind the scenes, maybe an inside job, maybe something bigger, allegedly. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, okay? But I'll say this, people are definitely asking a lot of questions because things like this don't just add up. Let's watch 1 or 2 more clips, and then I'll come back at the end of this video to give my own final 2 cents. If it's your first time to be on this channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you guys will be notified. Let's watch.
Congratulations, you burned down a warehouse to really stick it to the man. Too bad they have insurance, so you actually did them a favor. Not only will they receive hundreds of millions of dollars from their insurance, but they can also write it off as a loss in their taxes. Now they get to upgrade their facilities, which could mean ushering more automation, which means less employees, which means less jobs. Or they can simply relocate to a different area and reduce the overall economic contribution they have to businesses in that local area. Either way, this is a great opportunity for them to downsize, which means a lot of people are losing their jobs. And they get to save even more money through reduced labor costs. Also, they can now hire new employees at a lower cost while increasing the price of their products. You probably even gave the higher-ups a nice bonus. And now you get to rot in jail for a long, long time. So if you ever have issues with a business, destruction of property will not hurt a corporation. The only thing it does is screw over the people who rely on them for their livelihood.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live, is what this worker said before allegedly burning down a factory. Let's talk about that massive fire that broke out at a Kimberly-Clark warehouse in Ontario, California. Let's get into it. So the huge fire started around 12:30 in the morning at a warehouse that stored paper products like Kleenex, Cottonelle, toilet tissue, and Scott paper towels. The building was over 1 million square feet, and it took about 175 firefighters to put the fire out, and you could see the flames for miles. Now, police say the man who started the fire is 29-year-old Shamel Abdul Kareem. Now, he worked at the warehouse for a company called NFI Industries, which handles storage and shipping for Kimberly-Clark. Now, at first, people thought that he was just missing during the fire, but then cops found a video on social media that changed everything. In the video, a man is seen right after lighting pallets of paper towels on fire, and someone on the video says, "All you had to do was pay us enough to live." Now, that video is now part of a criminal case. Ontario police say that the suspect also posted things on social media about why he did it, but they're not sharing those details yet. Now, Abdul Kareem was found and arrested quickly. And look, please don't expect me to feel sorry for an insured building full of insured products. The reality for working class people is that we barely make enough to live, and that alone is enough to push anyone to their breaking point. But please don't burn down no buildings, y'all. Now, Abdul Kareem is expected in court on Thursday.
Let's talk about the paper warehouse fire. I keep seeing people talking about this situation and portraying the man who burned the building down selfishly. I watched the video he himself recorded. The whole time, he doesn't talk about himself once. He talks about we and us.
Okay, so at the end of the day, this whole situation is just sad, okay? And I mean that in every sense of the word. Because on one side, you've got a man who clearly felt pushed to a breaking point. A man who, like so many others, was probably waking up every single day, going to work, putting in hours and still feeling like it wasn't enough, still feeling stuck, still feeling like no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get ahead. And a lot of people watching this can relate to that feeling. Let's not pretend like the economy is okay or easy right now. It's not. The cost of living keeps going up, but wages, they are barely moving. People are working harder than ever and still struggling just to survive. So when stories like this one come out, there's always going to be a part of the internet that says, I get it. But understanding someone's frustration is not the same as justifying their actions, okay? Because what happened here, this wasn't just a bad decision. This was a life-altering one. Okay, that warehouse, it can be rebuilt, like many people are saying. It was probably insured. The company will recover it. They'll upgrade or reopen, continue business like nothing happened. But this man, his life is not just going back to normal anytime soon. Okay, he's gonna have a criminal record on his life, on whatever. We're talking about jail time, a criminal record, a future that's not just got a whole lot harder, opportunities limited, freedom gone. Okay, if he has a family, that's a whole other layer of pain, because now it's going to it's not just going to be about him anymore. It's about the people connected to him, the ones who depend on him, the ones who are going to have to live with the consequences of a decision they didn't make. And that's why this hits differently, okay? Because in a moment of anger, in a moment of frustration, everything changed, okay? And then there's the bigger conversation that people aren't really ready to have. Why are so many people reaching a breaking point like this? Like this is happening a lot, not necessarily that people are starting fires, but something else. But the breaking point, why is it happening like this? Why are stories like this becoming more and more common? Because whether people want to admit it or not, there's a growing frustration out there, a feeling that the system isn't working for the average person, that no matter how hard you try, you're always behind. But again, distraction is not the answer, okay? Because all it does is create more loss, more pain, and more consequences. And let's talk about the suspicion for a second. The questions people are asking are valid, okay? A warehouse that big with safety systems in place, just completely gone. What I'm trying to say is that it does make people wonder, okay? It does make people question whether there's more to this story, okay? But until there's real evidence, what we can do right now is just look at what is in front of us, okay? And conclude for now with what we've been presented, okay? And what's in front of us is a man whose life just took a turn for the worse, yeah? Over something that could have been handled differently. Way differently. This could have been a conversation, a job change, a new opportunity, a fresh start somewhere else. Instead, it became a crime, and now instead of working toward a better future, he's going to be spending his time facing the consequences of one decision. So if there's anything to take from this story, it's this: your frustration is valid, your struggles are real, feeling like you deserve better, that's human, but how you respond to that frustration, that's what defines everything, because one moment can change your entire life, and not always in the way you think. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think people are going too far when they start supporting actions like this, or do you think this is a sign of something bigger happening in society right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as usual, if it was your first time to be on this channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you will definitely be notified. I will definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful. Yeah.